Trinidad and Tobago, members of the media, and all of you listening and viewing to this Office of the Minority press conference. We thank you for tuning in. It has been a while since the minority of the Tobago House of Assembly would have spoken to you, the public, and today we welcome you to our press conference where the minority leader will speak to you on matters of public importance in relation to the management of the Tobago House of Assembly. But before I turn the microphone over to the minority leader, I want to take this opportunity to firstly wish all our students returning to school as we are about to embark on a new school year and school term. So I want to wish our students, our teachers, our parents, and our guardians best wishes and a successful new school year. I also want to take the opportunity to extend Independence Day greetings to the people of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. This year we are celebrating our 62nd anniversary of independence. Trinidad and Tobago has a rich history, a diverse culture, and we celebrate our independence. So on behalf of the Office of the Minority and on my own behalf, I want to wish Trinidad and Tobago happy 62nd independence. So at this time, I want to turn you over to the minority leader and assemblyman for Darrell Spring Wilm, Mr. Kelvin Morris, who will speak to you about matters of the Tobago House of Assembly that we consider urgent and important.
Good morning, and thank you, Councillor Petal Daniel Benoit. Let me say a special good morning to all of Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome you, the members of the media. Thank you for coming to our press briefing. And as Minority Councillor Petal Daniel alluded to, it has been a while since we have had a press briefing. It has been a while since we have spoken to you, the people of Tobago, and we felt it important that we communicate with you on one matter of public importance this morning. Before I do so, will I greet you a year older, and I hope wiser as well. I thank Almighty God for continue to provide me with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that He has granted me so that I can execute my functions in a way that all of Tobago can be proud. This morning, I too want to join with the rest of the country in wishing our students, our parents, our teachers, our guardians best wishes as they return to school. I trust that our schools in Tobago are completely ready and there shall be absolutely no disruptions to this school term that would affect the learning of our children. I also want to extend to our country, Trinidad and Tobago, a country that on December 31st, 1962, August 31st, 1962, said to the world that we will chart our own destiny, and chart our own destiny we have, and in fact we have done quite well. So happy 62nd Independence Day to the resilient people of Trinidad and Tobago. As we celebrate this milestone, let us take pride in our country and in our journey. A story of overcoming adversity, embracing diversity, and building a nation we all cherish. Yes, despite our challenges, we have much to be proud of. It is our shared values, our unity in the face of obstacles that have brought us this far. As we look to the future, let us draw strength from what binds us together and continue to forge a path of success for our beloved nation. Together we are stronger, and together we will continue to make Trinidad and Tobago a model of perseverance and hope. Happy independence to our beloved nation. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to discuss with you a matter that speaks to the core of what we know as transparency and accountability. And you will recall this administration did campaign on pillars of transparency, accountability. In fact, we were promised that they would be so transparent. There would be a website where one can go and you can get information on almost anything related to the governance of this island. And yes, we, the people, trusted and bought into that commitment, and therefore, with a resounding support, they came into governance 14-1. Today, unfortunately, that breach of trust has been broken, and that solemn pledge to be transparent and accountable has quickly vanished away. And I would bring to you one such example, blatant and bold-faced, that exemplifies how much and how far they have moved away from their promise. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to touch on an issue at the Echo Industrial Company of Tobago, EIDCOT as it's familiarly called. This company, recently, a private citizen, had a reason by way of a freedom of information request. And let me just take a back step for all who is following, because I want this to be a conversation so that we can educate each other and learn from one another. Freedom of information request is empowered by Chapter 2202 of our Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. And this gives the citizens the right to access information held by government bodies, ensuring transparency and accountability. It allows you, the people, to see how decisions are made, how public money is spent, and how services are delivered. This access helps citizens participate in governance, hold officials accountable, and trust that the government is acting in their best interests. Simply put, the FOIA, or Freedom of Information, is a tool that empowers you, the citizens, to know what's happening in your government and to ensure that your government is working for you. So this private citizen, utilizing this platform, this facility, requested of the Echo Industrial Development Company. And you would hear about the Manta Lodge. And as you know, there was a process, procurement process initiated to find an operator for the Manta Lodge. And of course, as any concerned citizen would want to know, because it has not yet been declared, how did we come up with this successful tender? How did we find this person? So this citizen did as the law prescribes on a freedom of information, and I will turn you to our display screen on the far side. This private citizen, utilizing the official Freedom of Information document, filed a request to find out the following. They requested of the Echo Industrial Company, and I'll read it because it may not be as legible from that. They asked of they wanted to find out and wanted information on the procurement process. So they asked for the request for proposal evaluation report, the request for proposal evaluating committee and qualifications, ensuring that the persons who would have reviewed and evaluated were competent persons, the expert consultant or legal counsel engaged, because these are matters that have serious long-term legal consequences So, of course, we want to know the competency of the legal advice or advisor, the name of the selected or successful tenderer who would now operate this hotel. They also wanted to know the terms of engagement because, of course, we want to know what is the cost of this arrangement to the taxpayer. And again, the annual management fee and the terms of the hotel management contract, which is fair information that I think citizens who are the shareholders of this property, the Manta Lodge, because it belongs to the Tobago House of Assembly, and the citizens are the ones who the Tobago House of Assembly represents, they ought to know what are the terms of this engagement. So this was filed, and to my complete dismay and utter shock, this private citizen got a most shocking and amazing, and I would say even bold-faced, out of place response from the management of the Echo Industrial Company. And this response is signed by the Chief Executive Officer acting. And it says, dated 1st July 2024, and I'll read, RE, Freedom of Information Request. The Eco Industrial Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited writes with reference to the matter at caption and to your application dated 28th May 2024 and received of even date in respect of the request for proposal for operators for the Manta Lodge Hotel and Dive Center. And it goes on to say, please be advised that the EID cut, not being, and I'll go slowly on this, not being a public authority pursuant to Section 3 of the Freedom of Information Act, Chapter 22(2), is not required to provide access to the requested documentation. So I'll go slowly again. What in essence, this CEO, who was empowered by a two-member board, one of those members being the senior technical advisor to the Secretary of Finance, is saying to you, the people of Tobago, that this Echo Industrial Company that managed over a multi-billion-dollar asset in Cove, your million-dollar hotel asset up at Manta Lodge, spends your public money, which is worth over $200 million in contracts, and is wholly owned by the Tobago House of Assembly by way of the Executive Council minute that created the company, and the Tobago House of Assembly Executive Council that appoints its board, is not a public authority, and therefore is not subjected to the Freedom of Information Act. And I dare say they go even further, because if they are not a public authority, it means therefore they are not subjected to any laws that deals with how public authorities administrate over public funds, which also includes procurement. And therefore, I find this objectionable, reprehensible, and a slap in the face of every Tobagonian who trusted this administration to be transparent and accountable. And please allow me some more to go into a brief history of the Echo Industrial Company, so you will get an idea. That is the company down at Cove, and you would see as you look around Tobago, they are currently doing most of the work on the island. So if you look at school repair program, it's the Echo Industrial Company that is doing that. There's a project going on right now where they are building out something for Blue Food over in Bloody Bay, that is the Eco Industrial Company. That Cove Estate, where they administer over giving out lands for industrial development and so forth, that is the Eco Industrial Company. All your major Tobago development, that's Sandpit, the sand facility that they built down at Corland, that again is the Eco Industrial Company. So this company is responsible for almost all of Tobago's important development. And this company, as I said, was created by the Tobago House of Assembly as a Tobago House of Assembly state-owned enterprise with the mandate to manage, facility, and facilitate Tobago's industrial and economic development. It was formed by the THA and has been funded primarily by public money, your money. And you may ask yourself, why does this matter? This matters because this company is responsible for significant public funds and projects that affect every Tobagonian. When EIDCOT operates in secrecy, it isn't just about the law. It's about protecting the interests of the people. And just to divulge into and delve into the law a bit, because EIDCOT, they argue that they are not a public authority and therefore are not bound by the Freedom of Information Act, Chapter 2202. But let us, for argument's sake, take a closer look at the law, because we sought eminent senior counsel advice, and the advice that we have received, of course I won't divulge because the senior counsel does not want to be embroiled in this public discourse, so it was given as private advice. But we have received from an eminent leading senior counsel in Trinidad and Tobago that the Freedom of Information Act defines a public authority as any entity that is established by law or by any other written law and that is funded by public money. And if we to simply use this rubric, who created EIDCOT? And the answer is the Tobago House of Assembly. Who in the main funds EIDCOT? The answer again is the Tobago House of Assembly. So therefore, EIDCOT was established as a state-owned enterprise by the THA and is funded by public monies. This alone qualifies EIDCOT as a public authority. And if we are to go into the law a bit, and know the screen is up, Part 1, Section 4 of the Act explicitly states that a public authority includes a company incorporated under the laws of Trinidad and Tobago, which is owned or controlled by the state. EIDCOT, being fully owned by the THA, clearly meets this definition. EIDCOT's operations are not only funded by taxpayers' money, but are also integral to the public policy and economic strategy of the THA. As I mentioned, they do most of the work. They are also important in terms of building out a robust private sector through the Cove Eco-Industrial Complex. EIDCOT's board members are also appointed by the THA, further cementing its status as a government-controlled entity. The attempt to argue otherwise is a blatant attempt to dodge scrutiny, and that is what it comes down to. That is the brass tacks of it all. That here it is, you have a public authority that does not want public scrutiny. Part 1, Section 3 further obligates public authorities to make information available to the public, except where exempted by the Act. The exemptions do not apply to EIDCOT in this case, making their refusal to provide information both illegal and unethical. EIDCOT's refusal to recognize itself as a public authority is not just an oversight. It's a blatant attempt to avoid scrutiny, as I said before, and accountability. But the law is clear, and their actions represent a gross misinterpretation designed to keep you, the public, in the dark. And therefore, we must therefore ask the following questions of EIDCOT. Who advised EIDCOT to take this legally indefensible position? And EIDCOT must come clean and tell us who gave them this advice that they are not a public authority contrary to the Act. And then, why is EIDCOT avoiding transparency? Why is a company that is wholly owned by you, the taxpayer, using the monies owned by you, the taxpayer, is avoiding you asking questions and don't want to share those answers with you? And the next question is, that runs concurrent, is what do they really have to hide? If what you did was above board, and if there's nothing to hide, then why are you dancing around this issue so much so to now claim that you are not a public authority and not subjected to the law, and therefore you will not comply? And I want to pointedly ask the Chief Secretary, does the Chief Secretary support this blatant disregard for the law? If not, what actions will be taken to correct this grave, egregious breach of trust? And also even their broken campaign promises. This administration promised to fix things, to restore integrity and transparency. But what we are seeing is an administration that is more focused on fixing themselves and not the people. This is a blatant betrayal of trust to the people of Tobago who placed their votes and their confidence in them. And when EIDCOT operates in secrecy, it affects every one of us, especially the poor and the downtrodden, who are already struggling to make ends meet. This is not just about a legal technicality. This is about ensuring that public funds are spent wisely and in a way that benefits you, the people, not a select few. This is about dollars and cents as well, and the cost of secrecy. When transparency is denied, it leads to waste, it leads to corruption, and it leads to mismanagement. Without competition, just imagine, in a system where EIDCOT is saying they are not subjected to the FOIA, they are not subjected to the procurement regulator and regulations, and they are spending millions and millions of taxpayers' money. Just imagine what is happening in the dead of the night. It means when they have opportunities for selecting contractors, they are therefore selecting who they want at whatever price they want. No competition, nobody to scrutinize them, nobody to make sure that there's fair play, nobody to make sure that they are within the confines of the procurement law. And this is where corruption runs ripe. This is where corruption takes away the soul of the island. And this is what, if you look at the way the island is being governed, what we are seeing playing out in the streets, this tells a grave picture. And you can see the alignment. Where there's chaos and confusion in governance, chaos and confusion will also manifest itself in other ways. So while the rest of us have to suffer the consequences, you have a company spending your money willy-nilly, happy-go-lucky, and is saying to you, you cannot ask me absolutely nothing. I have no report to give to you. And for the common man, this means you, the people who depend on the THA, when they misspend your money, And when they inflate prices and misuse the funds, the scarce funds that they say they have, it means that there are less opportunities for jobs, less money to spend on social support, and fewer opportunities for you, the ordinary man, who's looking for the THA to provide some kind of help. When millions of dollars are funneled into a company like EIDCOT without oversight, it's the people that are left to bear the cost. The poor gets poorer, while those in power enrich themselves. This is why transparency matters. It's about ensuring public resources are used for the benefit of all, not just the privileged few. And as I wrap up, I just want the people of Tobago to understand that this issue is not just about EIDCOT. It goes deeper. It's about leadership and the people who are entrusted to lead this island of Tobago, and whether they are committed to the ideals of transparency and accountability. Ultimately, that is what it is. Is this administration committed to providing a governance system that allows you, the people, to know exactly what is happening with your money? The people of Tobago deserve to know whether the Chief Secretary and the board of EIDCOT agree with this illegal and unethical stance. Does the Secretary of Finance, as the line secretary and corporation sole for EIDCOT, support this position? We need to hear from the newly minted secretary. Did she give approval to this position? We also need to hear from the THA Executive Council and the Chief Secretary. Does the THA Executive Council, the guardians of Tobago's treasury, endorse this blatant disregard of the law? If the leadership of this island truly believes in transparency and accountability, they must not just talk, but they must also act. I challenge the Chief Secretary to demonstrate his disagreement with this position by ordering the CEO of EIDCOT to rescind her stance and to release the requested information forthwith. Furthermore, disciplinary actions must be taken not just against the CEO, but against that two-member board of directors that approved the CEO sending out that most bold-faced release. Tobago will accept absolutely nothing less. We demand action, not just words. The people of Tobago deserves a government that acts in their best interests, upholds the law, and ensures that the public resources are used for the benefit of all. Anything short of this is a betrayal of the public trust and the trust that the people of Tobago placed in this current government that is led by Farley Chavez Augustine. Fellow Tobagonians, I, along with this private citizen, is committed to ensure that we follow this situation to the very end. At this point, the private citizen is getting legal counsel and is about to approach the courts of the High Court of Trinidad and Tobago for judicial review on this position. But I would simply ask the Chief Secretary, you say that the Tobago House of Assembly already is cash-strapped. Please do not allow this runaway company led by a runaway CEO to misuse and waste public funds on a legal battle that they just won't win. So, Chief Secretary, over to you. If you are serious about transparency, if you are serious about accountability, you will do the right thing and allow the private citizen, resident of Tobago, to get this information so that all of Tobago can have an appreciation for what is happening at EIDCOT. And while there are other matters happening there that I wish not to divulge in today. I can tell you that Eco-Industrial Company of Tobago, all is not well. There are matters quietly before the Integrity Commission, in matters also filed with the Anti-Corruption Investigation Bureau, and these matters are ongoing, and I wish not to divulge the nature of those matters, but this issue is but a scratch of the surface, and this issue is but the foundation of the mismanagement, the corruption, and the blatant disregard for the rule of law that is taking place in this special purpose company that is managing assets worth billions and billions of dollars and spending your public funds worth millions and millions. I thank you. Any questions at this point? It could be related directly to this matter or any other matter we'll take at this time.
In terms of the FOI request, right? What was the private citizen? Were they one of the people that tendered? What was the reasoning behind, trying to find out the wrongness?
I believe the private citizen claimed that they received information through a third party that suggested some discrepancies with the process, and therefore, on behalf of the people of Tobago, the private citizen felt it important to get additional information as to satisfy him or herself that what the complaint they received from the third party, whether it had validity or not. And based on the behavior of the EID cut, where they are refusing, even trying to break the law and say that they are not a public authority, they say where there is smoke, there is fire. And therefore, it suggests to me that there's more in the mortar than the pestle.
And has the minority reached out to EID cut? Because, you also indicated that there are some other issues that are going on. Have you been trying to, see if there can be some resolve?
Well, I can tell you categorically, like the private citizen, the private citizen is more fortunate than the minority to get a response, because we too have filed FOIA and we have received absolutely no response. We have been totally ignored. So therefore, that tells you the kind of relationship and the kind of approach that is being taken by this high-handed EID cut that was for a long period governed only by a CEO. That is something important for Tobagonians to understand. This most important company, managing billions of dollars of assets, because the Cove Eco-Industrial Development Complex by itself is $1 billion asset, spending millions of your money awarding contracts, were for a period of time without any board of directors. Imagine that. And managed only by an acting CEO who was a board of director. That is the kind of gross mismanagement that is taking place on our island, led by a chief secretary who told you that he would defend the public trust and ensure transparency and accountability. And the question we have to ask is why? Why has this company that is our main driver of our economy being so badly managed and scrutinized, and the oversight that is required is not provided?
No, I also know earlier last week you would have spoken out about what's been happening in Pigeon Point with the vendors there around Scholars area and so on. And we also have been following up on that issue, and do you have any perspective for us from your point of view?
So for context, I would always support the rule of law. And wherever the law reigns supreme, we all must be so guided. However, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. And when you're dealing with human beings, what is required is empathy and understanding. And in this case, I simply, as a Tobagonian, someone who understands hardship, coming from a mother and a father who were basically with little to do. I know how hard things can be. And when you see you have people struggling, trying to make an honest and earnest living, especially in the context of where we are with crime, you cannot use that kind of high-handed, heavy broomstick kind of manner and just sweep people off their feet. That too adds to the problem. So you cannot say that you're trying to stamp out crime by putting pressure on people who seem to be doing law-abiding kind of activities. What you have to do is what was eventually done, which is to help them, guide them. So even if you're removing them, you have an alternative plan in place so that they can continue to ply their trade. So this was not a matter of the minority saying you should not, you should allow people to break the law. If they're breaking the law, there are ways to assist them into becoming compliant. And that is all we were saying. The way it was done, to me, was heartless. And therefore, that is the issue I took up with the Chief Secretary. And you cannot approve a situation